Good morning, everyone. I wanted to do a movie review on a movie called Up in the Air with George Clooney. This movie is from 2009, and if you've not seen Up in the Air, you should. And I say because I'm thinking about how I really want to review this movie. The movie is very, it's depressing. It really makes you think about corporate America and how much we invest in large companies. One of the things that stuck out to me were how many lives a large company can impact. The trickle-down effect of just laying off, one person in their company. And it's most of the people that are part of the homestead community or the prepper community realize, excuse me, is we can't really rely on our government or our quote-unquote careers that are going to sustain us. We need to find ways to do self-sustaining lifestyles so that, we're less reliant on those, resources. I worked in corporate America for over 21 years. I got laid off twice, so this movie, and I was both times I was part of a massive layoff, and this movie really struck home. It pulled at every emotion I had at that time as a single mother, being told that your job was being eliminated, or the company was closing down, or the company had been sold, all of those things. So it is, it's got some funny parts in it. It's certainly not anything I would want to sit down children under the age of 15 with a mom and dad to watch, because there's no violence in it. But the premise of the movie is that you have a person who works for a company that this is their career. They do nothing but fire people as a career, and of course they run into different people on their trips, and they engage in physical activities that you probably wouldn't want your children watching. But it is certainly a movie that has a lot of depth and deep thought to it, and how we really need to be careful about relying on big companies to sustain us. One of the clips from the movie, and if I'm allowed, I'll put it at the end of this video, but one of the clips from the movie is basically an older gentleman who George Clooney asked him, "What did you sell your dream for?" And he said basically $20-some-odd thousand a year is what he sold his for early on in his career. In his late 50s, he's being laid off, and he's making $90,000 a year, so he kept climbing that ladder, but now he can't regain those years, and it's very difficult for you to revert what you've built in your life and still have debt hanging over and try to make those left and right turns into creating a self-sustaining life. It can be done. It's difficult. My husband and I have every plan excuse me, to retire or semi-retire by a self-sustaining lifestyle. We've had our careers. We've worked for big corporate America. We've been tied to those things, and we have no desire to continue the ball and chain and continue the lies that were told to us about leveling and measuring your success based upon how big is your house, how nice is your car, how full is your bank account. Those are the things that we measure success on, instead of the measuring of your relationships and what kind of quality those offer your family and your family and friends in your life. Those are the things that you're going to remember on your last day on earth. It's not going to be, you know, a meeting you were in at your job. It's going to be those moments that you either regret missing out on, or those are going to be the moments that you remember on your last day. Our purpose that was given to us by God is to always, we're relationships oriented, because we're humans. We have to, our whole basis of our health is based upon interaction. The stress that we bring on our bodies is all derivatives of our emotions. And I think it's really important to understand that you take on a job to sustain you, but people build careers around that American philosophy of the more debt I have and the more I'm able to maintain those payments and keep that debt level at a certain amount, and I'm constantly looking at my credit score, and I'm constantly monitoring whether or not I'm achieving a higher grade, is what causes a lot of our physical ailments. And the quality of food that we're eating is so important, the level of pesticides we allowed in our body. But we also need to concern ourselves with what kind of quality life are you giving. You know, I subscribe to a channel called the Swamp Boss, and one of the things he talks about on his video channel is how he didn't buy into that dream. And he has been able to sustain his life. He's been able to take every ounce of peace, every ounce of grace from God. And he's been able to take his talents and go and earn money when he needed to, but also maintain a level of rest that most of us would just dream about. So, you know, we need to take better care of ourselves, yes. But you can't do that by maintaining those high levels of stress, eating pesticide enhanced foods. It's not, at some point it's going to give. So I think it's real important that we maintain an understanding that we take a job on to not only sustain ourselves. It's not going to work for everybody. Everybody's not going to be able to go out and get a piece of property and live and build a garden and live off of the garden and live solar and pay nothing. We all aren't, that may be not everyone's dream to do. But if you can't 1,000% get invested in solving the problems that would sustain your life, do a little bit. You know, take the elephant and bite a little bit at a time. And here I am coughing, talking about health. I have a lot of allergies, and this area of the United States in Dallas has a lot of pollen during this area. So I need to be looking at places which offer me a cleaner way to breathe. And I've never been a smoker, don't drink, but on a regular basis, but I certainly need to live a healthier life. So check out this movie. It's called Up in the Air. It's with George Clooney. It's from 2009. We rented it on Amazon, but I know it's on YouTube, as well as probably any of the other movie channels. Or pick it up. It's not that expensive either if you want to pick it up. It's a very thought-provoking movie, worth watching. And if you're a homesteader, I'd say this should be in your video library for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and join me next time, and everybody have a blessed week.